I want to ask you this question. Who wrote the New Testament? You might try to answer that in many ways, but I want you to know that God put his own signature on it in a unique way, because he called a persecutor, the last person on earth, someone who hated enough to attack and make it his full-time vocation to try to stop the Derek Hashem movement of the first century, the Derek Chaim, the Derek Emes, it was called the Way. He was going to stop it. This was his full-time profession. But he got stopped. And he was called. Now, you remember when Moses was called in Exodus chapter 3, verse 10? God said, "Come now, I will send you to Pharaoh, and you will bring my people Israel out of Egypt." Now, in this chapter, he describes his calling, how he was on Mount Horeb, and he saw the burning bush, and God spoke to him out of the bush and called him. And he tried to get out of it because, he had various problems. And God got angry with him, but he eventually answered the call. And here's the point. When you read the book of Romans, it's very autobiographical. He starts right out with his autobiography, you might say. Rav Shaul, Paulos, called to be a shaliach. Called to be one of the Kadoshim. You see, you have to be called. And God called an unlikely person and made him the chief author. And when you combine the writing oversight that he undoubtedly did, because Acts is also autobiographical, and so Luke is really his amanuensis, his co-author, and very much dependent upon him. And his authority as a shaliach stands behind those two books, the Besurah HaGeolah of Lucas, as well as the book of Acts, and then all the epistles that Paul wrote. When you put all that together, that's most of the Brit Hadashah, written by an unlikely person. And there's no explanation for how he could have written it unless God called him and God inspired him and God was the real writer. The Ruach HaKodesh gave the words to this shaliach and they were written down. And that is a miracle, friend. God is the author. So who wrote the Brit Hadashah? The answer, God. God, the Ruach HaKodesh, through the shaliach, and not just this shaliach, but the other shaliachim, they were really used by the Ruach HaKodesh to write these holy words, which are written down. Now, right here you have the New English Bible. And about 3 years after I was born, there was a decision to put the Bible into modern English, and it was done. And just when I was about ready to come to the Lord, I had basically flamed out in all of my own pursuits. I had hit rock bottom, and my life was a complete disaster. And I felt bad. I went into the Read More bookstore on Hollywood Boulevard, 1970, and this book in hardcover was there. And I purchased it.